just got last-minute instructions about how to use this one. Good morning. I was told also, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for introducing me, I was told I had to be brief, and I'd like to paraphrase what Helen just said about Dickens, because this wonderful quote can be summed up for the insurance industry, and my 2030 outlook as well, transform or die. So that's not what I'm going to talk about, and I'm certain I've seen the agenda for this conference. We will be talking so much about the future, the generative AI, and I just have to say, when I'm looking at the future of the insurance industry and where we are headed, I need one more thing, and this is the so what, because we will all be, hopefully, very motivated about these 2 days, and we will come home with new ideas, and we really want to do things. But I'm probably more pragmatic than this, because I would actually like to do them and not just talk about it. So I'll give you my view today on where I see we are headed as an industry, and then I would probably spend just as long talking about the complications and implications that means for us, and if time allows, I can see it's counting up, very good. If time allows, then I'll also talk about how we actually get change done in the industry. So I'm jumping this one, I'm jumping that one, and we go directly into the insurance outlook. Now, you can add many, many more factors than these I'm including here. But I've tried, when I did this, I tried to focus on what is really important for us as an industry, and not necessarily looking at the whole world. And the world is changing, obviously. And for us, we have to deal with wars and instability. We have to deal with cybercrime, which is new to all of us. Yes, we have some products, but we probably don't have the right protections against it yet. We are looking into a changing risk landscape with the catastrophes, and we are having the wars. All of a sudden, ESG is taking a place where it should be, but it also starts mattering here in the Middle East, which is another thing we have to take into consideration. And of course, one of the things that I like to talk about a lot is the change of consumer behavior. And without going down that rabbit hole, I just need to say, we as an industry, we are very, very good at comparing ourselves to each other. So if we feel we are doing better in loss ratios or average price or whatever it is that the competitor, then we think we are really, really good. What we tend to forget is that our customers, they don't care. They care about the experience, and their experience is coming from Amazon, from Netflix, from Apple. And this is our competition in the future. And this is one of the things that we have to consider from a world perspective. If you're looking at our operations within the company, well, Internet of Things is not a big thing in the UAE yet. I hope it will come, and it will be used for preventive measures, which is another trend that we'll see in the future. We will walking away from just trying to minimize the claims cost to actually working with our customers within prevention. It's a cultural mindset, a cultural shift in our mindsets that we have to do. It is not very strong in the Middle East. I mean, we are a part of introducing I think at that time it was the first telematic solution in UAE actually, in 2016. And out of a customer base of hundreds of thousands, 600 bought it. So I know this is a long time ago, but I haven't seen any signs that we're actually increasing that yet. But hopefully it'll come, especially within the corporate segment for fleet insurance and maybe property insurance and so forth. It means that we have to be able to cope with this from our systems. We will look into a new pricing landscape. We are seeing competitors coming from the outside, and these competitors, they are really working with micro insurance products. And again, our industry, we are having end-to-end, you buy it all or you buy nothing. But if you look at how our business models are changing, then I also think we can all agree that the concept of embedded insurance is really on the rise. And embedded insurance is just this micro segmentation. So you're buying an insurance product for that specific thing that you are buying, for example, from Amazon at the moment. I've seen, not here, but I think it will come here as well, do-it-yourself MGAs. And this makes it exceptionally simple for externals to come and enter the markets, which means that we will be facing a complete new threat from outside, and not just our own little industry here in the UAE. The rise of on-demand insurance is here as well. I only want to get what I need right now to the extent that I need it and when I need it, and nothing more. So these are some of the things, and of course, and I will not get into this because there's going to be, I don't know how many hundreds of presentations talking about AI and generative AI. From my point of view, and we had a very good discussion about this yesterday actually, where a question was, is AI or Gen AI just hype, or is it actually going to change something? Now AI as such have been here for, I don't know, 20, 25 years. The first AI models was used as autopilots in the airplanes. So it's been around for a long time. I think we'll see a change now because with Gen AI and ChatGPT and the likes, it's coming to us, we can use it, we can start working with it. And this is the difference. And this is why, of course, it's here to stay, but I also think it's here to stay among us, and it's going to explode. I think we've only seen the beginning, but this is a whole completely different discussion. What I'd like to talk about is, with these things and this changing landscape, where does that leave us as an industry? There's a lot of things that are happening that we have to adjust ourselves and take into consideration. From our products and underwriting, with a changing risk landscape, with a changing way of consumer behavior, I only want to buy this specific part, we have to understand new pricing models, new underwriting models. We're used to having an end-to-end car insurance, taking care of paying for windshield damage or rim damage or whatever it is, but all of a sudden, how do we price the specific product of only windshield damage? I don't know, but it's coming, and we have to, as an industry, to find a way of coping with this, a complete new set of underwriting models and guidelines for underwriting. And yes, that also requires extensive product development. From a customer relationship model, I just touched upon it. Our customers, honestly, they've never wanted to buy insurance. So when they're forced to buy insurance, it's our responsibility to make it as hassle-free and as seamless as possible. Digital, of course. And we have to get used to that they compare us to the Amazons of the world, to the Apples of the world, not to the insurance company on the other side. So if your website looks better than the insurance companies on the other side, you're not good enough still. You have to make sure that the experience is as easy and as seamless as the ones that we're used to when we are dealing with Amazon. Think about how easy it is to return a product on Amazon, right? This is how a claims experience should be as well. I'm speed talking a little because I actually wanted to get to one of the last points, which is how do we work with this change? So I hope you bear with me, and if there's any questions, then I also want to have time to do this. Well, from an operations perspective, if we are getting into the micro products and the partnership, as the chairman also mentioned, we have to look into our operations. We can't have the legacy system. Yeah, we have to, but we can't rely on the legacy systems anymore. We have to understand how do we build in organizational flexibility in our operating models. And that's not just the processes and the automation. I know when we're sitting here and we're talking about digital insurance, we're all thinking about automation and robotics and AI. But just remember one thing, all of this starts with us. So an important part, if not an integral part of starting, developing the new insurance company is actually with you, with us, thinking differently, allowing people to do new things, trying to change our bureaucracy, our structures within the organizations, which is the older company you are, the more difficult that is. And we'll see, as well, we'll see this move from claims prevention, which is twofold in my world. First of all, we have to get used to it. How do we actually price this? So if people, they are accepting telematics, if they are accepting Internet of Things for your health, how do we price this, number one? But how do we also, as an industry, work with the cultural shift? Because nobody, I dare say, nobody is actively using Internet of Things for risk prevention today. Yeah, we can have them, but if you go deep, you'll figure out it's only just, if you don't drive too long, then you get a discount, right? It is not directly preventative insurance or matters that we're doing, right? So that is important. From a legal and compliance part of you, and this is an interesting one, because normally legal and compliance is the one that gets asked the last when we are doing new things. And then they come back and say, we have to research and discuss, and then we have to wait 3 to 4 months for them to come back and say no. And then we start out over. I think the insurance company of the future needs to understand that legal and compliance has to be part of everything that we are doing. The regulation around generative AI, the regulations about how we deal with our customers is changing rapidly. There are new laws being introduced frequently, which is good, but we can't wait until the very last moment for our product development, for our operations, to go and talk to legal and compliance and say, can we do this? We need to have that shift in mindset that as responsible business leaders, include legal, include compliance from the very beginning, make them responsible for understanding the laws, for coming knocking on your door and say, you know what, why don't we do this, or you can't do this because this is just in. I'm saying this because if you don't do this, you'll have this significant lag in your product development, in your organizational development. Just think about how long procurement takes on average, 4 to 5 months. How can you run a company if you have to wait 4.5 months to buy something? And how can you establish business relationships with insurtechs that some of us heard about from Plug and Play yesterday, and you're going to hear about today and tomorrow? How can we establish a meaningful relationship if it has to take 6 to 9 months just to get a contract signed? And this is some of the things. Those of us who manage to do this, we can move so much faster than the rest of you. And think about this when you are thinking about all the things around your business development. And of course, this one, which is very close to my heart, is technology. But before I get into this, let me just again say that this is driven by people. So if your people are not capable or willing to work with you on increasing your technology or your flexibility in technology, it's not going to happen. You have to make sure that your organization is also ready to change. But otherwise, it's the usual, right? We have to make sure that the way that we work can be flexible, that we work in modules. Now, I like to say we have in Alwatma, we have a magic IT team, which we do. We are probably the best kept secret in the UAE because all our products is available for purchase online, which nobody knows. But they're there and they work. And that's because of the team. They've done magic. Right now, if we're going to double our size, which we will be, then I'm not certain that we can just double the magic team. So now one of the things that we have to work in, okay, how do we take the magic that they're doing and make it modular so we can actually have parallel projects and cope with the growth that's coming? And a part of this is also working with reducing our technical debt, because one of the things when you do build things yourself and when you do work under pressure, you tend to build up technical debt. And it's not something we want to do on purpose, but it's something that happens when you start to get impatient and say, well, I need this tomorrow, I need this yesterday, please do it. IT, they will cut corners. Next time they have to build something in IT, they have to understand what corners did we cut. And then you have a vicious cycle that just makes it take longer and longer to develop your IT projects. Yes. Now, this is a summary of everything that I just said. And I just wanted to spin that artificial intelligence or Gen AI angle on this. If you look at all these things, these are my take on the major complications for the insurance companies and what we have to think about to look for 2030. And how many of these can be done by or with Gen AI? Well, all of them. And you have to think about this. And I'm going to paraphrase something I've heard too many times, but it makes sense. We will not lose our jobs to generative AI, right? But we will lose our jobs to the people who know how to work with it. So I'm seeing this as an eye-opener for us to say, okay, we work with all this, and our point of departure is Gen AI. Start there, see what it can help us with, and then we apply our brains, our experience to work with it and make it make sense for the industry, but also for our companies. But I'm hoping this is some food for thought for you, because I'd like to hear any argument that this is not correct. And this is the future. This is what we are. This is what we're looking into. I mean, we are having competitions right now in our company who can give us the best use case on work for ChatGPT. Simply, it's so important for us that we program this into people's brains that when you do something, always ChatGPT first, see the suggestions, and then move on. Our value add as humans is our experience, right? It's applying our brain, saying, okay, this output doesn't make sense, or that's not what I wanted because this is where I want to go. But by all means, be lazy and leverage ChatGPT as much as you can. This is also a personal belief, of course, I guess you can tell. Now, what other factors are shaping our industry in this country? I think I've mentioned most of them. But of course, from the transforming part, we are being pushed by insurtechs that are coming and presenting all the things that we would like to do, but for various reasons we cannot. Customer expectations, technology development, all these things are coming. New distribution channels is forcing us to change. And then we have all the restraining factors. We have our legacy systems. We have the bureaucracy in the organizations. We have lack of talent in the insurance industry. And also lack of willingness to change, to be very honest. So these things are stopping us from doing things. And I'm not saying this to make a dark picture of the future. I'm saying this because this is facts that we have to deal with. This is our future. This is how it is today. And we can't try to shape tomorrow if we're not realistic about how we are today. And this is where I typically feel there's a disconnect. And I'm hoping to have you agree with me and take this more pragmatic view when you come back to your organizations and say, we want to change, but we actually have to respect that we are over here, and in order for us to change, we need to do things. So I'm not saying here all hope is lost, but I'm saying you can't build on a dream. You need to go back and be pragmatic and realistic about where you are as an insurance company, as a company today, before you start moving ahead. You have to find your foundation to stand on. So, how do we do this in 5 minutes and 25 seconds? This is what I'm seeing. We are doing a lot, but we are doing a lot of the same. We are not changing how we are thinking. We are taking the processes that we do today and then we do them faster, or we do them digitally. We are taking everything that we are talking about customer centricity, and everybody agrees this is the most important thing. And then you look at where are you customer centric? Oh, I'm customer centric over here and over here. But everything in between is not coordinated. Back to organizations, silos, bureaucracy. And it can't work like this. The industry needs a change of clock frequency. We need to have 4 first at the same time: employees, customers, digital, and AI. And again, now I'm standing here just telling you what to do, and it's not easy. But from a strategic point of view, I guess we have a 2x2 matrix, which I love, but we have a couple of options, right? We can say, okay, we want to get into the ecosystem participation. We want to work with the distribution channels, and we're going to win by running the price game. That is one strategy. So you have a price focus. You go and create the cheapest products or the best products. You go focus on your price and your distribution. You can go the other way as well. We want to create an organization that actually is capable of changing with the changes in market demand. We want to leverage Gen AI to give a better, a truly unique customer experience. And then we choose a niche. We might not be the cheapest, we might not be the best in distribution, but we will choose a niche, and we want to be the best there. And of course, you can, as I'm an advocate for, say, we need to be part of the ecosystems. We need to be part of the embedded insurance. We need to be part of all the distribution channels. But we're not going to win there because everybody else wants to be there as well. So we have to, on the other side, also work with the agility in the organizational change. It's not easy. I mean, if it was, we wouldn't be standing here, right? But I think this is the only way. And of course, if you're not going to do any of this, you can just do as Dickens suggests, right? Transform or die. Now, how do we move from here? And I don't have the time to go into details at all, but I would say, in my experience, first of all, decide where you want to do, where you want to be, and then start with employees, start with teaching your organization to leverage Gen AI, simply to increase the speed of deliveries, increase the clock frequency. Then you can start working on digital first and customers first. And when you're there, then you can repeat to the next and so forth. We have to start somewhere. And the first step is this room, us. We need to start working on this. Then we can implement all the sexy tools for digital first and customers first. But if we are not agreeing to this, then it won't happen. Yeah, I have 2 minutes left, but the change management part is so important, because you come home now and have the best ideas, and you want to do this, you want to do employees first, you want to do Gen AI first, and then you're faced by 2 types of resistance: human resistance and organizational resistance. And from the human part, you are dealing with fear of the unknown. We are coming back home full of energy, full of ideas, we want to do this, and then you meet your employees, who's not been part of this, first of all, who maybe not see the same vision as you, who don't have the trust that they can participate in this new world, who don't feel they have the capabilities, who don't have the outlook of what's going to happen tomorrow, their position. So they're going to say no in a discussion. They're not going to move. Think about when we do change management, it is about changing habits. And I used this example yesterday as well. None of you, including me, likes change. If somebody came to me and said, you know what, stop taking your morning coffee, you have to drink morning tea instead, I would say absolutely not. And then somebody would present me with all the good arguments why green tea is so much better than coffee. I would still say absolutely not. So these are the exact same challenges you are facing when you're talking about organizational change. I'm sitting here and I'm comfortable sitting here, and I'm not going to change. And I can continue into organizational resistance. And this, I find, the older the company, the bigger the resistance. You are building kingdoms. I've been managing claims for so many years, and I'm the best, and I'm getting a fantastic bonus every year for this. I'm absolutely not going to change. Right? You have the bureaucracy, you have the legacy systems, you have the silos, you have everything. And this combined with the human resistance just makes it very, very, very difficult to change. But we have to change. And you have to be aware of these things. And if you're aware of these things and aware of, I don't have time, but if you're aware of how to mitigate this, you are on the right path. You need to be exceptionally pragmatic and realistic about where you are as a company, and understand your people, understand your systems, and start from there. Time's up. Can I just say one more thing, Mr. Chair, please? This one is unrelated, kind of unrelated, but I think UAE has a fantastic potential to do something special in the insurance industry. I see the number of insurtechs, I see the number of enthusiasm that we have from the insurtech side, and I see from the insurer side the lack of the same, the no's being said. And I'm hoping that conferences like this can help us, and I'm probably going to say the insurers, open up for being a little bit more receptive for all these wonderful insurtechs that are here, because we can learn from them. Listen, understand what they have to say, take it as a learning for yourself to understand what's going on in the market. And on the other side, insurtechs probably should stop being as disgruntled about the insurers, because we are old organizations and we can't sign a piece of paper overnight. It takes time, but I really feel we as an industry, especially in this country, have a chance if we just get a little bit closer to each other. So from the insurance side, do yourself a favor next time an insurtech knocks your door on this conference. Say yes. I'll take a coffee with you. I'll listen to what you have to say. Open-minded, understand. And from the insurtech side, just understand that it takes time. It's an old industry. It takes time to change. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Frederik. This was great. So we are, as you know, we're well behind schedule, so we have time maybe for 1 or 2 questions. But I have, a simple one for you. Your talk is about 2030. Maybe in simple words, how do you see the status of the insurance industry in 2030? What would be the biggest difference between today and then?
It's up to us, right? Honestly, it's up to us. Either we'll sit here with newly or reformed companies and rejoice that we actually did it, or it's going to be another set of people sitting here. I really think we will see a segregation of companies going forward because of the threats from the outside and because of all the new pricing models, all the new things that are coming. We have to adjust to this, otherwise it's going to be a new set of people.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor? Yes. There is a question here in the middle, right.
Frederik, thank you very much for your presentation. Sebastian Fuchs from Autodata Middle East. You mentioned at the end that there's going to be a lot to do, and you talked about time. Now, your statement about plan for time, do you think the industry has the time?
Say that, I think
Sorry, that microphone is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Do you think the industry has the time that you talked about to walk this change slow?
Yes, not slow, but also not in the speed that we would like to see. It is a very solid industry, the financial services industry, and I think we see everything happening around us, and we have to adjust. But I think we have to increase our clock frequency. We don't have to go in panic mode, but we have to increase our clock frequency. We cannot allow ourselves 4 months procurement time, for example, or 3 months time to sign a paper illegal. But we are still a solid industry, but we have to get moving. But we're not in panic mode yet, maybe in a couple of years.
Thank you.
Okay. Just one more, because we really have to move on. Mike, please, here.
Thank you, Frederik. Thank you, Dr. Hindawi. My question is, how big do you see the gap between the insurtechs and incumbents? Or big or small is the gap?
I don't think you can compare it, because if you look at the distribution of insurtechs are very strong at selecting specific parts of the value chain, where they say, okay, in underwriting, for example, we will make a fantastic product. In fraud, waste and abuse, we'll make a fantastic product. So I see insurtechs as very, very important add-ons or improvements to the insurance companies. I'm yet to see, yeah, you can say lemonade, but it took a long time before they actually got the insurance license, right? I'm yet to see a proper insurtech doing the complete value chain, IA being a real disruptor to the industry. It is in the collaboration that we make the difference. So I see we don't have to, it doesn't matter actually, because it is specialty services you get from the insurtechs, and this is what we need.
We are encouraging the collaboration between insurtech and incumbents. So we have to bridge the gap between both of them and to bring both of them on the same platform. Absolutely. So that's where we see sometimes some gaps that needs to be paid attention.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the gaps start by insurtechs understanding things takes time for insurers, and insurers actually saying yes to the meetings. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Frederik. Appreciate it.